friends, and welcome to another video. And we're talking today about Star Trek Picard Broken Pieces. But first, I wanted to show off my new little unicorn headband. My roommate got that for me, and she's sweet. Hey, every girl deserves to be a unicorn. I've loved unicorns since I was a kid. So, we have a recap of everything that's happened thus far in the series. We have review of the Doctor having killed Bruce Maddox, Hugh dying, all of this. And so Soji gets on board the ship, and the captain immediately knows her. He immediately dismisses himself. He goes to his quarters and shuts down. And hilariously enough, it's not just the EMH. There is an emergency navigational hologram. There's an emergency hospitality hologram. There's an emergency engineering hologram. And as with the emergency medical hologram, they all look like Rios. And they all have different accents. The engineering one has a Scottish accent. I just think this must have been incredible work for this actor to have to, you want me to what? You want me to put on this accent, that accent? But you can tell he kind of had fun with it. So we get a bit of Rios's backstory, that he was on a ship and the captain he considered to be his mentor, his father figure, and they visited what is now the synth homeworld, and two of them came on board. One who looked like Soji, Daj, and she liked French fries dipped in peppermint ice cream. And they basically were killed by his captain, and it just appalled him so much. He gives us a bit of an insight into Rios' character. Also, we have the one person who was a spy. She awakes from her coma, and it's flushed out of her system. They lost their Tal Shiar tail, and they find out exactly why she did this and exactly what she knows. That Commodore O is half Vulcan, half Romulan, and she sort of worked her way up to Starfleet's ranks. And that it was not the synths themselves, but the Romulans who were behind the attack on Mars 14 years previously, because they didn't like the synths, and they wanted the synths outlawed. So it was a bit of a long game. It was a bit of a long laid plan. We saw towards the beginning Commodore O, our Romulan spy who's on the cube, and we saw her aunt, who ended up being the Borg drone who was having the visions in previous episodes. And we saw them all look into this vortex and said it would either drive you mad or something else. Shades of Doctor Who here, where the Time Lords look into the the infinite schism, and it either drives them mad or drives them to run. So she ends up knowing what she has to do. We also see Elnor is left behind on the derelict Borg cube that's been reclaimed by the Romulans with the XBs. And they're tracking them down, and they've tracked him to the old director Hughes' office, and they finally find him, but they are polished off by 7 of 9. And she figures out the only way to get them, to get the Romulans off the ship for good is to have the former Borg take over. And it's not just the XBs, it's some of the Borg that they haven't worked on that were in stasis, so she'd have to build a new collective. And she says she's not sure she would want to disconnect them from the hive afterwards. But after going through certain things, and she ends up connecting it, and you see these tubes connect to her back. 7 of 9, tertiary adjunct to Unimatrix 1, born Annika Hansen, now temporary Borg queen. But what she does is she controls them to kill the Romulans and take over the cube so it's theirs. And the hive, through 7 of 9, says Annika Hansen's work is done. But now we have, we've seen that these people, Rafi uses the phrase broken piece, it's the title of the episode, to describe the 5 holograms of Rios. But really it ends up being something to describe the whole crew. We have each one of them haunted by their own ghost. We have Alice Girardi, who is the cyberneticist, now former spy. And we have a captain who is haunted by his previous captain and mentor killing 2 sentient synth life forms in front of him. We have Jean-Luc Picard, celebrated captain who has been a hermit for 14 years, haunted by something, and we have, haunted by something that was seemingly his fault, but now we know it isn't. And then we have Rafi, who has turned to drugs, turned to alcoholism to cope with, her personal problems and her personal demons. But now we are seeing, minus Elnor, who probably will get back to us, we are seeing these people who were broken pieces, come together as a more cohesive crew. And they were going to Deep Space 12, but now Soji, the former doctor, she's not knowing exactly what her place is, but something in her is active. And so they are going back to her homeworld, and they're probably going to find other synths. And so you can see it sort of come together and their mission become clear. And that's my takeaway from this episode. So do me a favor. Tell me what you think in the comments. Tell me what your take is on this episode. Did you like it? Did you absolutely hate it? Was it somewhere in between? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And until next week, take care, don't go far, and have a great day. Bye-bye.